So, how long have you been guiding?
I've been guiding for going on 5 years or so, and it all started over here at the Sequoia with River's Edge through Alex Harris. When I first initially started guiding over here, it really wasn't guiding as much as it was just me bringing friends over here and fishing for fun, because nobody knew about us. We didn't really have a website. I had an Instagram page that had a decent number of followers, and I say decent, it was like less than 1,000. And started posting some pictures. First time I fished over here was in the summer, so the fish were so-so. They didn't really want to eat too good, but caught some fish, posted some pictures, made some posts like, hey, look for River's Edge on the Sequoia opening up in the fall. I'm going to be a guide for it, blah, blah, blah. And it started leading from one thing to another, and started getting some clients in. Alex he knows a lot of local people, and so he started getting some trips booked with Fieldale, which is a poultry company, sells chicken to restaurants and grocery stores and whatnot all over the country. And they'd bring some clients in, like corporate trips, just fly in. They'd come in, have a good time. Alex cooked barbecue for them, whatnot, and that kind of started our first trips. Then we started getting into, people following on social media. Hey, how much does it cost? How much is it to come down? Do y'all do weekends? All kinds of different stuff. Just people were interested in it. And we'd start doing maybe a couple trips a week. Then it was like a year and a half later, all of a sudden it went from just a few days a week to every single day. It's booked with somebody.
Y'all have had some pretty high-end clients come through here.
We have. We've had quite a few high-end clients actually come through. Some of them I haven't guided necessarily, personally. Some of them's just come here that's fished before, pretty good. They can fish on their own. Couple country music singers and whatnot. And then I had the privilege of guiding Donald Trump Jr. back in March of 2018, I believe. Last Sunday in March is when it was. And it was really more just we were following each other on Instagram, and I made like a friendly, hey man, if you're ever in Georgia, let's go fish. And I'll be danged, he didn't message me back and said, yeah, let's do it. And we'd talk back and forth, and then eventually one time he was going to be in Georgia, and he's like, hey, I'm going to have that Sunday free if you want to fish. And I said, well, let me set it up. I can get it worked out. And so he came up here and fished, and we had a good time with that. And I actually, not here, but at some public water that I got at, I actually had a message on Instagram. And I'm trying to get him to come over here if he can get time to. He's busy with family. But it was Nick Ayers, and I recognized the name.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Nick Ayers, sounds familiar. Looked at his Instagram page, it had a blue check mark verified, and I was like, okay, who's this dude? And I was like, oh crap, that's Chief of Staff to Vice President Pence. And he actually had just worked like his last year with him and decided he's busy with family, he's got some kids, and I was like, I understand, you need to be with your family. And so ended up guiding him and some of his buddies one time up at Smithcall Woods. They rented out the cabins up there, and he actually didn't even know that I had took Trump Jr. fishing, which was kind of funny because he's like, wait, you know Don? I was like, yeah, I know him pretty good. I was like, we talk and stuff every now and then. He's like, dude, that's really cool. And it was funny because I thought at first that maybe he was the one that told him about it, and it's just through social media. He didn't even know, which I thought was kind of neat. But, I mean, we get the high-end clients. We get people in here that's never fished before. People don't have gear. I've literally had clients before show up and never held a spinning rod, push-button rod, anything. Just family or something. I want to fish,
So when you're out here guiding and you've seen all these different kinds of people, what's the one tip that you give for maybe like new people coming into the sport, that come in and they experience this? I mean, obviously you guys have like ridiculous quality fish, You know, but what's the one thing you try to like let them take with them when they leave? Like, what bit of knowledge do you think is the single most important?
Probably, it's hard to pinpoint it down to one thing. Um, as far as the new people go, come here, have a good time, you know, and catch some fish. But take what you learned that day and apply it to fishing other places when you go fishing on your own.
Right.
But not only that, you know, everything that you do, you learn the basics of, then you kind of develop your own style. You know, fish with several other people. I have repeat clients and I'm thankful for it, but I always encourage, like, hey, you know, if y'all want to fish with somebody else, it's okay, because sometimes they might have a style or something that might suit y'all more.
Right.
And so I tell them, don't be afraid to go somewhere else, or even just ask other people that you run into on the river. Maybe if you want to stay true to the guy that you went to, whether it's me or whether it's other people, you know, continue to go with them. But if you're fishing on your own, you see somebody that's just upstream just whacking fish left and right, don't be afraid to come up, you know, kind of slow and like, hey man, you mind if I ask you, you know, how you're doing that? Not necessarily what fly you're using, but just ask them, hey, what makes you so consistent, or what are you doing differently that I might not be doing? You care to watch me for a minute and maybe give me a tip or two? And that's how I learned a lot, because I've been fly fishing since I was 2 years old. Nobody in my family fly fished. My uncle would take me fishing, but I didn't really learn a whole lot from fly fishing from my family. I learned other fishing and like pond fishing, whatnot like that. But it was fun going out on the river and seeing somebody fish, and then an older guy coming up, hey man, I see you casting pretty good, try this, and they'll give me something. Or I didn't even know what tip it was at first. I just kept cutting my leader down. I was like 5 years old, until eventually I had about that much of a leader left next to my fly line, and I was trying to tie like 40-pound test to some dry fly. I didn't have a clue, and an older guy came up to me and was like, hey, you need some tippet leader material. And so I just learned that way. So if you're getting into it and really just say you don't want to hire a guide, or you want to try it on your own, or you just want to save up for it, you know, don't be afraid to go out on your own and just watch other people and learn from other people, and hope that somebody's nice enough and generous enough to come along and help you out, and not just be a jerk like some people are when you come up next to them.
Right.
You know.
So when you're guiding, you know, obviously people want to come out here and catch fish and have a good time. Do you ever have clients that want to come out and maybe, you know, Jacob, I want to learn how to be a better dry fly fisherman, you know, so do you do like technique specific trips?
I do. A lot of times for this particular river, these fish will eat dry flies, but it's very random. Mm-hmm. Usually I'll take somebody some public water, the wild trout stream somewhere, and those fish will just destroy a dry fly.
Right.
Or like real technical dry fly fish in some North Carolina water, those fish are real, you know, particular about things, but they eat dries when the hatches come off, and I'll take somebody up there and we'll do that. Or Euro nymphin or indicator. Some people want to learn how to dry dropper or streamer fish, and typically we'll work on that. If it's a technique that time of the year that's not necessarily the most productive, we'll fish and catch some fish just to catch some, you know. But you know, at some point during the day, I'll sit them down like, hey, okay, y'all want to learn streamer fishing? We're going to take a couple hours, and we might not catch anything, but I'm going to show you how I would approach streamer fishing or Euro nymphin or whatever.
Right.
And so yeah, we definitely get a lot of those requests of somebody wanting a technique specific trip, which is nice because it's fun to work with somebody that's getting better and wants to improve on what they already know.
One last question. Obviously, you've been guiding for a while and stuff. You know, where do you see yourself going with this guiding? I know you got here, you got public water. Is this something that you do, not so much for a living? I mean, has it become a lifestyle for you, or is this, you know, is this one of those like you actually enjoy going to work every day?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's been a part of my life for so long, just fishing and fly fishing in general, that it's a lifestyle and it's a hobby and a passion. But at the same time, yeah, some days I'll wake up and it might just be I've done so many trips in a row, I just want to sleep in. Which happens. Any job will be like that, even if it's something you do like. But for the most part, I look forward to it because a lot of the clients that I get are newbies. Not newbies as in they never fished before, but new to me that I've never met. And I like hanging out with other people and getting to know them. Then I get my repeat clients, you know, say I get a trip booked with somebody and I'm like, all right, I'm looking forward to it. I'll get to hang out with them again. And those are the people that don't even live around here. Some of them travel. I got a guy that comes down from New Hampshire that fishes with me once a year, sometimes twice a year. It's just people I don't get to see often. And it's nice to, you know, have a client, but not just a client, but an actual friend that I talk to on a regular basis. And it's nice to come to work and just know that I'm not going to get yelled at by somebody for doing something stupid, but rather the biggest thing I got to worry about is if the fish are going to cooperate that day.
Right.
And anybody that fishes knows how that is.
That's exactly right. Well, Jacob, I appreciate you giving us a couple minutes of your time, but I'm getting about tired of watching Joe over here missing fish, so I think we better go get in the water.
That's what I'm thinking. We need to go down there and show him up a little bit.
That's right.